The morning rain drummed against the observation deck windows of the orbital station Harmony, Earth's first diplomatic outpost beyond the solar system. Jason Martinez adjusted his translator earpiece for the 100th time, watching droplets streak down the reinforced glass like tears of anticipation. Below them, the alien world of Valdris spun slowly, its purple oceans catching starlight. Nervous? Asked Dr. Sarah Chen, the mission's xenobiologist, as she reviewed holographic displays of Valdris atmospheric readings. Her dark eyes reflected the swirling data streams. Terrified, Jason admitted, running his hand through his brown hair. At 28, he was the youngest cultural attach ever selected for first contact protocols. What if I mess this up? Commander Torres, a weathered veteran with cybernetic implants along his left temple, clapped Jason's shoulder. You've trained for 2 years. Trust your instincts. His augmented eye whirred softly as it focused on the approaching Valdrian ship, a graceful vessel that moved like liquid mercury through space. The docking bay hummed with activity as the alien delegation arrived. Jason's heart hammered as the airlock cycled open with a soft hiss. Steam billowed out, and through it stepped beings unlike anything he'd imagined. The Valdrians were tall and ethereal, their translucent blue skin shimmering with internal bioluminescence that pulsed like slow lightning. Princess Lirelai emerged last, and Jason's breath caught. She moved with fluid grace, her crystalline hair flowing like water, each strand catching and refracting light into tiny rainbows. Her eyes' deep violet pools surveyed the human delegation with curious intelligence. Welcome to Harmony Station, Jason said, stepping forward as protocol demanded. The translation matrix hummed, converting his words into melodic tones that resonated through the bay. Ambassador Thrix, the Valdrian diplomatic leader, nodded formally. But it was the princess who captured Jason's attention. As he extended his hand in the traditional human greeting, following procedures they'd rehearsed countless times, she hesitated. Their eyes met across the space between worlds. Jason felt something electric in that moment, not just the recycled air of the station or the low gravity, but something deeper. When Princess Lirelai finally reached out and their palms touched, skin to alien skin, she trembled. The bioluminescent patterns across her body flickered like a failing power grid. Her violet eyes widened in what looked like shock, maybe fear. The other Valdrians noticed immediately, their own lights pulsing in rapid, concerned patterns. Jason held perfectly still, afraid he'd somehow violated their customs, but unable to pull away from her gaze. The diplomatic quarters aboard Harmony felt cramped compared to the vast spaces Jason had imagined. He paced the small recreation area, past the hydroponic gardens where earth vegetables grew under artificial sunlight, their familiar green leaves a comfort among the stars. Through the viewport, Valdris dominated the view, its 3 moons dancing in complex orbital patterns. The medical scans were inconclusive, Dr. Chen reported, settling into one of the cushioned chairs while reviewing data on her tablet. Princess Lirelai's biosigns spiked during contact, but there's no indication of illness or distress. It's almost like what? Jason stopped pacing, turning to face the doctor. Like recognition. Neural pathways lighting up in ways we've never seen. Chen frowned at her readings. I've studied alien physiology for 15 years, Jason. This is unprecedented. The door chimed, and Communications Officer Rivera entered with a concerned expression. We're receiving a private transmission from the Valdrian vessel. It's unusual. The princess is requesting a personal meeting with Jason. Commander Torres, who'd been reviewing security protocols at the central console, looked up sharply. That's not standard diplomatic procedure. Neither was her reaction, Jason replied. I need to know what happened. The meeting took place in the observation lounge, where massive windows provided a panoramic view of space. Princess Lirelai arrived alone, her bioluminescent patterns now steady but dimmer than before. She wore flowing robes that seemed to be woven from starlight itself, shifting between deep blues and silvers. Honored human, she began, her voice carrying musical overtones even through the translator. I must explain my response. Jason sat across from her at the small table, careful to maintain respectful distance. Did I hurt you somehow? Our briefings might have missed something important about your culture. No harm, she said, and for the first time, something like a smile crossed her features. Among my people, we experience what you might call resonance and alignment of life energies. It is rare. Resonance? Jason leaned forward slightly. When I touched your hand, I felt a harmony I have never experienced. Your life song matched mine perfectly. Her lights pulsed gently as she spoke. It startled me. Such connections are spoken of in our oldest texts, but most believe them to be myth. Jason stared at her, processing the implications. So when you trembled, I recognized you, she said simply. Though we have never met, though we are from different worlds, I recognized your essence as perfectly matched to mine. Outside the windows, a meteor shower began, tiny points of light streaking past like celestial fireworks. Neither of them noticed, too absorbed in this revelation that would change everything. What does this mean for our missions? For our peoples? Jason asked. Princess Lirelai's lights brightened slightly. I believe it means our worlds were meant to find each other. The diplomatic conference room had been transformed into something resembling a Valdrian council chamber, with bioluminescent panels that Dr. Chen had somehow jury-rigged to respond to the aliens' emotional states. Jason watched the lights pulse and shift as heated discussions continued between the human and Valdrian delegations. The trade agreements are straightforward, Ambassador Thrix was saying, his tall frame casting intricate shadows on the curved walls. But this connection between our princess and your attached complicates matters. Commander Torres crossed his arms, his cybernetic eye whirring as it recorded everything. How so? Personal relationships don't usually affect diplomatic negotiations. Among our people, a resonance bond is sacred, explained Keeper Morvain, an elderly Valdrian whose crystalline formations had grown into elaborate crown-like structures over centuries. If confirmed, it would create unprecedented ties between our civilizations. Jason felt Princess Lirelai's gaze on him from across the room. Since their private conversation 3 days ago, he'd found himself thinking about her constantly. Not just her alien beauty, but her intelligence, her curiosity about human culture, the way her lights danced when she was amused by something he said. Dr. Chen pulled up holographic displays showing neural activity patterns. I've been monitoring both subjects with their permission. The synchronization is remarkable. When Jason experiences stress, the princess's bioluminescence responds. When she's calm, his cortisol levels drop. It's not just psychological, added Medical Officer Patel, a soft-spoken woman with extensive xenobiology training. We're seeing actual physiological changes. Jason's brainwave patterns are shifting to match frequencies we've never seen in humans before. Rivera looked up from her communication station. We're also receiving inquiries from Earth Command. News of the princess's reaction has reached the inner system. They want a full report. Jason stood up abruptly. This is about us, not about politics or science. He looked directly at Princess Lirelai. What do you want? The room fell silent. The princess's lights dimmed to a soft, steady glow. I want to understand this bond with you, away from committees and protocols. That could be arranged, Commander Torres said slowly. There's the observation pod in Section C. It's isolated, private. Later, floating in the transparent observation pod that extended from Harmony's hull like a glass bubble, Jason and Princess Lirelai found themselves surrounded by stars. The artificial gravity was minimal here, creating an intimate, weightless environment. On Valdris, we have a ceremony called the light joining, she explained, her bioluminescence creating aurora-like patterns on the pod's interior. Two beings who share resonance can temporarily merge their consciousness. Is that what you want to try? Jason asked, his heart racing. I want to know if what we feel is real, or just an accident of first contact. She extended her hand, and this time when their skin touched, Jason felt it a warm, electric connection that seemed to flow through every nerve. The princess's lights brightened, and suddenly Jason could sense her emotions, her wonder, her hope. It's real, he whispered, as stars wheeled around them in the cosmic dance. The emergency alarm pierced through Harmony's corridors like a scream, red lights strobing in rhythm with Jason's racing heart. He pulled on his uniform jacket while running toward the command center, where chaos had erupted. The main view screen showed a massive Valdrian warship approaching, sleek, predatory, and bristling with weapons that looked like crystalline spears. It's the Valdrian High Command, Commander Torres reported, his artificial eye blazing with incoming data streams. They're demanding immediate surrender of Princess Lirelai. Dr. Chen looked up from her emergency medical station, her face pale. Jason, They're claiming she's been compromised by human influence, some kind of mental contamination. Through the comms, Ambassador Thrix's voice carried urgent tones. Lord Commander Zephyr leads the conservative faction. He believes the resonance bond is a human trick to control our royal line. Jason's blood turned cold. Where is she? Secured in her quarters, Rivera answered from communications. But the warship is charging weapons. They're giving us 10 minutes to comply. The command center doors whispered open, and Princess Leerli entered with 2 Valdrian guards, not as prisoner, but as royalty taking command. Her bioluminescence pulsed with determined patterns that Jason had learned meant resolve. I will not surrender to fear, she announced. The resonance bond is not contamination, it's evolution. On the view screen, a new figure appeared. Lord Commander Zephyr, whose crystalline growths had formed sharp, aggressive angles. His voice carried the authority of millennia. Princess, you will return immediately for purification rituals. This human has poisoned your judgment. I am not poison, she replied calmly. I am awakened. Commander Torres stepped forward. Lord Commander, we're prepared to defend our diplomatic guests. This could mean war between our peoples. Then so be it. Zephyr's image flickered with cold light. Better war than corruption of our bloodline. Jason felt the weight of 2 civilizations pressing down on him. Everything they'd worked for, peace, understanding, trade agreements that could benefit billions, hung in the balance because he'd touched an alien princess's hand. There's another option, Princess Leerli said suddenly. Her lights began pulsing in complex patterns Jason had never seen before. The trial of truth, an ancient Valdrian ceremony where disputed claims are tested before the cosmos itself. Keeper Morvain, who had remained silent, suddenly straightened. The trial hasn't been invoked in over 1,000 years, Princess. It's dangerous. What does it involve? Jason asked. Both parties, myself and Lord Commander Zephyr, must undergo the resonance test in neutral space. If the bond is false, it will break under cosmic exposure. If it's true, she paused, looking at Jason, it will be validated before both our peoples. Doctor? Chen frowned at her readings. Cosmic exposure? What kind of radiation levels are we talking about? The kind that could kill us both if we're wrong, the princess admitted. On the view screen, Lord Commander Zephyr's angular features shifted into what might have been surprise. You would risk your life for this human? I would risk my life for the truth, she replied. Jason stepped closer to her, feeling the familiar warmth of their connection. Then we do it together. The trial of truth will commence in 12 hours, Zephyr declared. Prepare yourselves. As the transmission ended, Jason realized this wasn't just about proving their bond anymore, it was about proving that love could exist between worlds. The neutral zone between Valdris and Harmony Station felt like the edge of forever. Jason floated in his environmental suit within the crystalline test chamber. The Valdrians had constructed a transparent sphere that gleamed like captured starlight against the cosmic backdrop. Through the chamber's walls, he could see Princess Leerli in an identical sphere 50 meters away, her bioluminescence creating swirling galaxies of light within her own protective shell. Neural link established. Dr. Chen's voice crackled through his comms system from the monitoring station, both subjects showing elevated stress responses, but that's expected. Commander Torres added grimly, the Valdrian warship is maintaining position. If this goes wrong, we'll have about 30 seconds before they open fire. Jason tried to calm his racing heart as he watched Lord Commander Zephyr's vessel approach. The massive ship positioned itself equidistant from both test chambers, its crystalline weapons arrays tracking their movements with predatory precision. The trial of truth begins now. Zephyr's voice resonated through the chamber. You will be exposed to pure cosmic energy, the same force that gives life to stars and binds galaxies together. If your bond is false, the resonance will tear you apart. If it is true, you will emerge stronger than ever. Through his visor, Jason saw Ambassador Thrix and Keeper Morvain aboard their observation vessel, their lights pulsing with what he'd learned was anxious prayer among the Valdrians. Even they weren't certain what would happen. Jason, Princess Leerli's voice came through on a private channel, warm despite the translation matrix. Whatever happens, know that you've shown me wonders I never dreamed possible. Don't talk. Like we're saying goodbye, he replied, reaching out instinctively toward her chamber, even though the distance was too great. We're going to prove them all wrong. The cosmic energy began as a subtle tingling, like standing too close to a power generator. Then it intensified, washing over them in waves that made Jason's teeth ache and his vision blur. He could see Princess Lirelai's bioluminescence flickering erratically as the forces buffeted her chamber. Pain lanced through Jason's mind, not physical, but deeper, as if the energy was examining every thought, every feeling he'd ever had about the princess. Doubt crept in. Was this real? Or had he been fooling himself about an alien he barely understood? Then he felt a warm presence touching his consciousness. Princess Lirelai's essence, reaching across the void between their chambers. Her memories flowed into him, the loneliness of royal duty, the wonder she'd felt when humans first made contact, the electric moment when their hands had touched. His own memories flowed back to her, his childhood dreams of exploring space, his determination to bridge the gap between species, his growing love for an alien princess who had become more real to him than his own world. The cosmic energy reached its peak, threatening to tear their minds apart, but instead of breaking them, it forged them together. Jason felt their consciousness merge, their life energies synchronizing in perfect harmony. The pain vanished, replaced by a euphoria that made him feel like he was becoming part of the universe itself. When the energy finally faded, both chambers glowed with a soft, steady light that pulsed in perfect unison. Impossible, Lord Commander Zephyr breathed over the cum. Jason and Princess Lirelai looked at each other across the space between worlds, their bond now visible as streams of light connecting their chambers. The trial of truth has spoken, Keeper Morvain announced solemnly. The resonance bond is validated. Princess Lirelai and Jason Martinez are truly joined. As their chambers were retrieved by the waiting ships, Jason felt the princess's joy mixing with his own. They had faced the cosmos itself and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. What happens now? He asked her privately. Now, she replied, her lights dancing with happiness. We build a bridge between worlds together.